Welcome to the Edgemont Junior Senior High School Cross Country Course. Your host for this little review video is Coach Burbett from Eastchester. And if you are wondering why an Eastchester coach is making a video about an Edgemont course, well, there are three reasons in no particular order. Reason number one, I'm a cross country nerd. Reason number two, Edgemont always works real hard setting up this course for us every year. They do all the setup, cleanup, approvals, etc. So we can make a little video for them. And reason number three, my wife wants me to go paint the hallway, so I'm hiding from her and making this video. Okay, let's go. Let's zoom in. Here is the campus. You will be pulling in on White Oak Lane, which is this road right here, hidden between the trees. Maybe we can sneak in a little bit. There it is. So as your bus pulls in, you're going up that hill there. You are on the course. You will actually complete that part of the course twice. But as you pull in, note here, here's the campus of the school. You'll pull into this parking lot. Just loop around the lot. Bus, dump your kids off over here. Drivers can go hang out back here usually. Walk up the hill a short way, past the football practice field, and you will chance upon the landing zone of the Edgemont cross country course. This is the start, this is the finish. Most visiting teams set up over here in the tree line, and Edgemont usually is set up over here, hustling around, setting flags and timers and the rest of that business. Okay, so what do you do once you get here? Well, it's a pretty simple course actually. It's confusing to the newcomers, so if you've never done this course, or if you have done this course and you don't remember, or if you're from Rockland and you're first coming here, don't worry, you follow the rules of the figure eight. How does that play here? Watch this. This is a loop, we call that the field loop. This is a loop, we call that the woods loop. If you put the field loop together with the woods loop, you get a funky looking 8. So they like to call it a figure 8 over at Edgemont. I might actually call it a disfigured 8, but either way, tilt your head, squint your eyes, and you could see the 8 there, I believe. So how's the course work? Quick overview. You set up by the tennis courts, that's the starting line. Everyone will spread out here. It's a nice wide start. You got a fairly long field here for everyone to bust out of the gates. So you'll run out and the course will narrow when you get over here. However, rest assured there's plenty of course, and this is cross country. You do not need to win it in the first 75 meters. So here you are across that starting line, and though it looks like you dip into the woods immediately, you do not. This is just shaded area. The ground is a little rutted and uneven, but marked. You'll drop down, and the first thing you will do is the field loop. So you'll run around this set of fields, give a little detail about that later. You'll come back to that hinge point, and then you'll drop in again along that tree line, then into the woods, and you'll do the woods loop. Give you a little more detail about that too. So you just completed one field loop and one woods loop. So again, from the start, tennis courts, you'll do a field loop and a woods loop. That's one figure 8. You'll do another field loop and another woods loop. That's 2 figure 8s. And now you'll do a third field loop, and actually you're done there. You'll finish. That's 2.5 figure 8s. One of the things you want to do in this course is not get lost. No, you will not disappear into the wilderness. However, your time and your race will be ruined. So how do you avoid getting lost? And we're going to go over this again in the map view. Here we're in the satellite view. Remember that, number one, it's a figure 8. So field, woods, field, woods, field. Practice that when you're going to bed for this meet. Okay, number 2, if you are a front runner and you really can't get lost because the team is relying on you, again, you must know field, woods, field, woods, field. But it's not that simple. Yes, the course is the same as what we just said, But there will be runners strewn about on this course, and so the front runners will certainly overlap some of the mid or backpack runners. And the thing you don't want to do is get confused. If a front runner and a mid or backpack runner, if you're crossing paths, just remember this. Both of you remember this. You are not on the same loop. So let's say you cross paths right here. Say the leader of the race right here crosses paths with somebody who's farther back. You two are not going in the same loop. Meaning when you get to this point, if somebody who you're lapping from a leader's perspective, if somebody you're about to lap goes on the field loop, you're going on the woods loop. If somebody you're about to lap is going on the woods loop, you're going on the field loop. If a leader just passed you, and you're at this point, you're deciding what to do. If a leader just passed you, as in they lapped you, not they were 20 meters behind you and just did a surge, but they lapped you. If you're getting lapped, if the leader goes around the field, you're going into the woods. If the leader goes into the woods and you're getting lapped, you're going around the field. So keep that in mind, those two things. Field, woods, field. And also, if there's any lapping where a lead runner is overtaking somebody else in the race, somebody who's well behind, a loop behind, you two are not going on the same loop. Don't follow each other. Okay, let's go to our standard map view over here, the street view. A little easier to see things. A couple things to point out. Here's an 80-meter contour line. Here's a 90-meter. Here's a 100-meter. What does that mean? Basically, downhill is over here. Uphill is over here. Here's the start. If you are running down and to the left on this map, you will not see down and to the left on race day. So if you are running away from the start, anywhere on the course that's away from the start, you will either be going flat or downhill. If you are going up and to the right in this picture, which you won't know on game day, but you can know where the start is. If you're going generally in the direction back toward the start or toward the finish, you are either going flat or uphill. Okay? Away from the start is generally downhill or flat. Back toward the start is generally uphill or flat. That's how this course is. Now you can tell by the profile down here that the course is not particularly hilly. However, you see the repetition, right? Some of you science thinkers, you see the periodicity. It's kind of a repeat. A little uphill here, downhill, uphill, a little uphill here, downhill. Of course, because you're going over the same loops. So let's look at this following the blue dot. Now don't worry about the stats you see here. This was an Eastchester runner last year on the course. And we just pulled the Strava feed from that runner. And we're using that to help map out what you're going to do. So look up at the map now. You see a little blue dot. There's the start. Flat, here we go. You drop a little downhill along that tree line. And remember, field first. So you go around the field. This back straightaway here, it's not going to take you very long, but it's not nothing either. Flat, you got a little bump up in field levels here. There's a little uphill here. Flat around the baseball, softball fields. And then right over here, you're getting a little bump up. You have completed a field loop. Okay. You are, according to this, about 0.6 miles. You know, you're talking about back here is about half mile. This loop, about half mile in to complete this loop. All right? Now, you're going to drop down along that same tree line, except remember, do not repeat the same loop twice in a row. Do not repeat the same loop twice in a row. Field, woods, field, woods, field. Okay? So here, you already did the field loop. Drop into the woods. Here's where you drop into the woods. And as you drop into the woods, you get some general tendency downhill. But then when you pop out of the woods, you are now on White Oak Lane, which is uphill. It's not a killer uphill. It reminds me in some ways of going up to the crossroads at Bowdoin. It kind of lingers. It hangs out there a little while. Now, they're going to ask you to run along the shoulder here. And as long as you do stay along the shoulder, this is a spikes-friendly course because more or less everything is on grass or dirt or trail. However, when you are here, sometimes what you'll notice if you follow the blue dot, sometimes, especially up around here, you have a fair number of cars parked. If you do, run the safest path for yourself. There's not a lot of traffic on this road, but don't get shoved into a spot where you can't see what you're stepping on, because over here there are some holes. There are sometimes puddles that form. You don't want to turn an ankle in here just because you're trying to really stick inside the cars. Judge by the day, play it safe, and pick the clearest path you can going up here. Stay, however, on the left side. Stay against traffic. Don't cross over the road. That's a mistake, and it'll lose you some time. All right, but anyway, notice when we get up around here, right around Bittersweet Lane, that little road there, you're at about the mile mark. All right, so you'll loop around, and you'll head back into the campus. So there's a little bit of a rut here, kind of a semi-wooded area. And then right here, you get a steep uphill. It's short. And that steep uphill, you're going to pass through a new gate. Everyone's concerned about the new gate, but you'll fit through. It's fine. All right, now we're back to that intersection point, kind of the belt of the 8, that crossroads, if you want to call it. You just did a woods loop. Okay, now it's time to do the field loop again. There you go. Look at that. So nice. And by the way, every time you cross by here, whoever's coming to see you, mama, grandma, whoever, they can cheer for you. Great spectator course because you keep passing by the same area. Okay. There you just completed a field loop. And now we go to the woods loop. Back to the woods, same exact course. This time a little earlier on the hill, you hit that 2-mile mark. All right? 2 miles in, less than a mile to go. Remember the course is a little short. It is a hill here, so don't lose your mind yet. Okay, you come up around, and once you get back into the campus, you're going to go up that little steep hill again. You're hitting about 2 1/4 when you hit that intersection again. That little crossroads area. So you just completed your second woods loop. You got one more field loop. Here you go. All right, there you go. Maybe you hear Chariots of Fire, something, Rocky. Have your friends play the radio. And you will come around here. And at this point, you don't have much to go. You're not sprinting down here because you run out of steam. You're going to hook a sharp left. This is a steep little hill here. And then this is a nice sprint to the finish. This little finish right here, it's flat once you're up, and it's a good spot to sprint. You know, get your positioning right over here, but you can hustle over here, and then you are done. This kid Strava said it was 2.86. It's about 2.9-ish. So the times, though not necessarily translatable to some of the other courses you've done, there's a good record of them from previous years. We've done the league championship here now 4 years in a row. I believe 3 of the 4 were this course, so you can compare some times over there. And if you do come here earlier in the season to do a duel, you also can get a sense of what things are like as far as times go. It's a competitive spot, it's a competitive race, and they really do a nice job setting it up. You as the runner do have a responsibility. I'm going to say it again. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it's always heartbreak. You must know the pattern. Field, woods, field, woods, field. Do not do the same big loop, the same section of the disfigured 8 twice. Do not do any twice in a row. You always have to interchange. Field, loop, field, woods, field, woods, field. All right? The other piece where you can easily get confused, said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you are lapping someone, not just passing someone, but lapping someone, as in you are a full loop ahead of them, you will not be going into the same loop. You two are going in different directions. If you are being lapped, so the leader comes by you, and you can usually tell by the way they're running compared to how everybody around you is running, whether it's a leader, or you might just know them because they're on your team. Do not follow them. You're on a different loop. So it's 2.5 disfigured 8s. You could think of it as 5 loops total, and inside of, depending on who's running, 16, 17, 18, whatever it is minutes, you'll be done with the course. Nice area up here to hang out. Really a pretty campus. And that's that. All right. Looking forward to some action on this course.